watching Just the News. I'm Mamata Banerjee. Let's get straight to it. India has reported its fourth case of Omicron, and the first case has been reported in Maharashtra. The three cases that's been reported in India, if you remember, the first two cases came out of Karnataka 2 days ago. In Maharashtra, 33-year-old passenger who arrived in Mumbai on the 24th of November from Cape Town, South Africa, through Dubai and Delhi has tested positive. He is a resident of Kalyan Dombivli Municipal Corporation and has not taken any COVID vaccine, according to a press note by the Maharashtra government. In the meantime, a 71-year-old NRI who traveled from Zimbabwe to Gujarat's Jamnagar had also tested positive for the Omicron variant of coronavirus. Now, the man reportedly tested positive for COVID during screening at the airport 2 days ago, following which samples were sent for genome sequencing to Pune. According to the Indian Express, Dr. S.S. Chatterjee, nodal officer of COVID-19 for Jamnagar district, said that while the patient had shown mild symptoms of cough, cold, and sore throat after admission on the 1st of December, he is stable at present. Now, the patient had received only the first dose of the Sinovac vaccine. He said, and I quote, "It will be at least another 3 to 4 days before we test him for COVID-19 again. And even if it is negative, the protocol requires that he remain isolated, as a negative COVID-19 test does not mean the patient has stopped viral shedding," end quote. In the meantime, the number of cases across the world has increased. The WHO on Friday said that the Omicron has been detected in at least 38 countries, but no deaths have been reported due to that variant yet. WHO Chief Scientist Soumya Swaminathan said during an interview at the Reuters Next conference on Friday that the right response was to be prepared and cautious and not to panic in the face of this new variant. She went on to say, and I quote, "How worried should we be? We need to be prepared and cautious, not panic, because we're in a different situation than a year ago," end quote. The WHO said that it is still studying the transmissibility and severity of the new variant. Now, there are several other reports coming in about this transmissibility of this new variant, but the WHO has maintained that it is still studying and that data will be only released after a few weeks. In the meantime, an update on COVID cases in India. India has reported 8,603 new COVID cases and 415 deaths in the last 24 hours. Several states have already started, putting in restrictions and travel guidelines across the country. West Bengal, for instance, has issued a new travel advisory for passengers arriving in the state from at-risk countries. The passengers will have to undergo mandatory 7 days quarantine. In fact, for domestic travelers, they will have to submit a negative RT-PCR COVID test. In the meantime, Tamil Nadu's Madurai's administration announced that people who have not received even a single dose of the COVID vaccine will not be allowed to enter hotels, shopping malls, and other public places after 1 week. According to ANI, Madurai Collector Anish Shekhar said, and I quote, "1 week's time has been given to people to get at least one dose of COVID vaccine, failing which those unvaccinated people to be not allowed to enter public places like hotels, malls, and other commercial establishments." An update now on the farmers' protest. The Samyukta Kisan Morcha held a meeting at the Sindhu border near Delhi to discuss the path ahead. This is a group of farmer unions. They have also announced a 5-member panel to hold discussions with the centre. And among the members of this panel include farmer leaders Balbir Singh Rajewal, Ashok Dhavale, Shiv Kumar Kaka, Gurnam Singh Chaluni, and Yudhvir Singh. They were named in this 5-member panel. This comes after Union Home Minister Amit Shah called the farmer leaders to discuss the remaining issues. Yudhvir Singh, in the meantime, a leader of one of the farmer unions, told NDTV in an interview, and I quote, Amit Shah called last night. He said the laws have been rolled back and the government is serious about finding a solution to the ongoing stir. the Home Minister wanted a committee to communicate with the government. So we finally have made that committee. The result of the meeting between the government and the committee will be discussed on the 7th of December. And if a compromise is found, then there is a possibility of farmers going back from borders. An update now on what's going on in the world of politics in the country in the ongoing tiff between West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and Congress. Shiv Sena has taken strong exception to Ms. Banerjee's criticism of the Congress. In its editorial in Samna, it said, and I quote, although it's true that in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee finished the Congress, the left, and the BJP doing politics by keeping Congress away from national politics is like strengthening today's state with a fascist tendency. One can understand that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP want the Congress to be over. It is part of their program. But if those fighting Modi and the BJP also feel that the Congress should be over, it is the biggest threat. Meanwhile, Union Home Minister Amit Shah announced that BJP is in talks with former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh and former Akali Dal leader Sukhdev Singh to go for an alliance for the upcoming elections. Now, in an interview at HT Summit, Amit Shah said, and I quote, we are talking to Captain Saab as well as Sukhdev Singh Saab. It is possible we will have an alliance. As far as the farmers' protests are concerned, Prime Minister Narendra Modi showing a big heart to end the protest and saying, fine, if you think the farm laws are not in your benefit, took them back. I don't think there is any issue left in Punjab. Election in Punjab will be fought on merits, end quote. Punjab is set to go to elections in February, March 2022. An update now on Cyclone Jawad. According to the IMD, Cyclone Jawad is likely to weaken gradually and move northwards during the next 12 hours and then northwards along the Odisha coast, reaching close to Puri as a deep depression. It's likely to make a landfall near Puri in Odisha on Sunday. Now, the areas which will receive the heaviest rainfalls and will be impacted the most include North Coastal Andhra Pradesh and South Coastal Odisha. In fact, West Bengal, as a precautionary measure, has already evacuated thousands of people from South 24 Parganas and Purba Midnapur. Over 54,000 people have been evacuated from several parts of Andhra Pradesh as well. 11 NDRF teams, 5 state disaster response force teams, and 6 Coast Guard teams have also been deployed in the state. Following Cyclone Jawad, in fact, Konark Festival and International Stand Art Festival have also been cancelled in Odisha. Let's now take a look at what's making news across the world. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said on Saturday that South Korea reported a record daily of 5,352 new COVID infections and 70 deaths, while a nationwide total of 9 cases of the Omicron variant has been confirmed. Now, the government on Friday announced that people visiting restaurants, cinemas, and other public spaces will have to show vaccine passes. In the meantime, in Brazil, Brazil's Supreme Court has initiated an inquiry into the comments made by President Bolsonaro claiming that COVID vaccines may raise the chance of contracting AIDS. Now, the comments were made during the social media live stream in October, following which he was temporarily banned from Facebook and YouTube under the platform's fake news policies. Now, in the live stream, President Bolsonaro said, reports suggest that, and I quote him, suggest that people who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 are developing acquired immune deficiency syndrome or AIDS much faster than expected, end quote. Now, the assertion obviously has received strong criticism and has been rejected by scientists and medical experts. Bolsonaro, in fact, claims also to have not taken the vaccine and has already flouted local health protocols since the start of the pandemic. He's also complained that restrictions aimed at controlling the coronavirus do more harm than good. On to sports news right now. New Zealand spinner Ajaz Patel has created history by taking all 10 wickets in a test innings against India. Incidentally, Patel was born in Mumbai and later his family shifted to New Zealand, and Patel achieved the feat at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. Also in the news, PV Sindhu has now entered the finals of Badminton World Federation after beating a Japanese contender. She will now face South Korea's contender in the final match. PV Sindhu had won the title in 2018 to become the only Indian to achieve the feat. And one more piece of good news before we wrap up this bulletin. Indian American mathematician Nikhil Srivastava, who teaches at the University of California, will be jointly awarded the inaugural Cyprian Faye Prize in Operator Theory by American Mathematical Society for solving a 1959 problem named Canison Singer. Now, the prize amount is $5,000. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.